Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of The Football Show. Today we're going to talk about tonight's Premier League games. I'm going to release this video while recording tomorrow. Tonight's Premier League games, tomorrow's Premier League game, and also some games from other European leagues tonight. First, let's start with the Premier League. Aston Villa beat Fulham 3-1. Very important win for Aston Villa as they get their first win of the season. It was 1-1 in the first half. Fulham got the lead from Raul Jimenez, and then 8 minutes before half time, Ollie Watkins scores to make it 1-1. And then second half, Aston Villa came back like a fantastic proper team, scoring 2 goals from John McGinn, and then 2 minutes later from Emi Buendia, who hasn't played lots of games in recent years under Unai Emery, but very important goal for him, a very important goal for Aston Villa. And very important with for Aston Villa, for Unai Emery as well, especially. Some people questioning, has he taken Aston Villa as far as he can? So 2 important wins, beating Bologna, beating Fulham, especially their first win of the season. So very important for Aston Villa. So let's see if they can carry on that or not. And you can clearly see the passion of Unai Emery when they scored those 2 goals from John McGinn and Buendia. You can clearly see the passion, the relief, finally getting that first win. Yeah, please ask for Aston Villa, please. Newcastle United against Arsenal. Arsenal beat Newcastle United 2-1, and it was a game of good quality and also bad refereeing, of course. Arsenal had they got the penalty from the foul on Gyökeres, and the referee awarded it as a penalty. But then the VAR came to intervene and said to him, look at the monitor, is it penalty really or not? And the referee looked at the monitor and said, no, I'm going to overturn it. I mean, the penalty should have never been overturned, by the way. Never. I mean, it's clearly a foul, it's clearly a penalty. I mean, I would say that was more of a penalty than the Real Madrid against Marseille one, the second one. Clearly, and it was the referee made the right decision to give a penalty. And then VAR came in out of nowhere, told them to say, are you really sure? And then they told him to monitor, and then it seems like the referees, when the referees go to the monitor, it seems like they always change their decisions, no matter if it's right or wrong. They always change the decisions whenever they go to the monitor. Why don't stick to their own decision? Because I see referees from other countries, whenever they feel like they made the right decision, but then they go to the monitor, and they still made the right decision, and they still stick to their own decision. But with the Premier League, it seems like the referees are afraid to upset the bosses or something. They are afraid to upset the one the other. This is a Premier League. This is the high level of football. This is not amateur level. And you're there to be not upsetting other referees and other colleagues. What is this? I remember Mike Dean a couple of years ago talking about he didn't want, and it sent Anthony Taylor to his to the monitor for a potential red card from Romero on pulling the hair on Cucurella, and he said, no, I didn't want to upset him. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. All of these referees are soap puppets. The soap puppets, and it should have been a penalty. Clearly, don't know why the VAR came in. Okay, and then Newcastle got the goal 1-0 from Nick Voltomede. Long ball. People say should have been a foul from a push back on Gabriel. I disagree. I think Gabriel Magalhaes should have been much stronger than that. But good finish, good goal for Voltomede. And it was against the run of play because Arsenal dominated the game. I would say in the first half they were a better side. They dominated the game. They were creating chances. They were the better side. They outplayed Newcastle, especially in the first half. And then the second half, Newcastle started to be a bit better in the second half, even though Arsenal was still the dominant side. They still had chances, they still had more possession. And then, Arteta thought okay, let's bring in substitutions. Let's bring in Mikel Merino. Let's bring in Martin Odegaard for Saka, and for Zubimendi, if I'm not mistaken. And when I saw those substitutions, I was like, what are you doing, Mikel? What are you doing? You're bringing Mikel Merino to risk a draw. But I tell you, it was right at the end. It was right, yeah, right at the end. So you have to give a lot of credit to Mikel Arteta. You know, I thought that the substitutions decisions from him was not gonna work out, but it worked at the end. So fair play to him. Well done to him. He got the substitutions right at the end, and a goal for Mikel Merino, who responded well to the criticism and etc. Scoring the equaliser for Arsenal, and then 12 minutes later, the winner from Gabriel Magalhaes. Yeah, very important goal for Arsenal. Very important goal for Gabriel, and he was. I would say he was fantastic. Yeah, except that goal, the goal where you could say he could have done better. He was fantastic in this game. Like most defensive distribution contribution. Sorry, most headed clearance, most tackles, most interceptions, 100 grand duels won, 81 touches. I mean, he was amazing, fantastic. My opinion, he was man of the match in my opinion. So, well done to Gabriel Magalhaes, and well done to Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. You have to give them a lot of credit because they responded well. They responded well because when the Nick Veltamete scored, I thought like, okay, how are Arsenal going to cope with this? They had a decision going against them. They have been dominating the game, and now they're losing. How are they going to cope with it? Especially in the ground, they normally lose and they normally struggle away from home. I tell you what, Arsenal showed those players and Mikel Arteta, they showed some cojones, some balls. I mean, they showed a lot of character. Because if that was, let's say the Arsenal of last season, I don't think Arsenal would have won this game, in my opinion. But you can clearly see there's been a shift in mentality. Arsenal mentality before was not that bad, but it can be much better than that. And Arsenal proved that in this game that the mentality gotten better, and there's been a shift in mentality and shift of psychologically for Arsenal players and Mikel Arteta. So very important win, very important goal for Gabriel Magalhaes for Arsenal, for Mikel Arteta. Very important win, and they now go 2 points behind Liverpool. I don't pay much attention to the Premier League title, especially early on in the season. I only pay attention to it when 12 games in, 13 games in, 15 games in, something like that. Now is not the right time to pay attention to it because it's still a long way to go. Like we're only 6 games in. So yeah, I mean Newcastle they tried all sorts of tactics. Try to make it difficult. They try to sit back. They try to make it difficult for Arsenal. They kind of. Someone said to me in Twitter that they were trying to play Brexit ball against a team who play football, and that was kind of right because Newcastle were defending and Bruno Guimaraes was celebrating blocks like it was a last minute equaliser, which understandably so. So yeah, like it's not an easy game to go and win and cope with all the circumstances, especially at Newcastle away. So very important win for Arsenal, you look at the other players like Gabriel Magalhaes performed really well, and players like Eze. I mean, he's a quality player. Players like Trossard, Saka. I don't think they've had. They did okay, but I don't think they did exceptional. But they did okay. And then Newcastle, you look at it, especially defending for the second goal. I mean, Nick Pope, I don't know what was he doing. I don't know. Credit to Arsenal. And people, criticize Arsenal's tactics for impeding the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper all the time in the corner. I mean, this discussion has been going on from last season. I think from 2 years ago. From 2 seasons ago, I think. Ben White, I think in the game against Tottenham, he kind of did something in the gloves of Vicario. I remember. So, if people don't like Arsenal what they're doing, then stop them from doing that. And it seems like teams don't stop from doing that. Yeah, it's a kind of, you could say it's a dirty tactic, but let's not act like if we were in that position we would do different. So yeah. Very important win for Arsenal and for Mikel Arteta, as I said. And again, Arsenal showed once again why they're so good in set pieces. I mean, people say, "Oh, set pieces, they rely too much on set pieces." Yeah, but set pieces are part of the game. Set pieces are part of the game. Like you see Liverpool scoring last minute goals. Not in the last game. They score last minute goals. People say, "Oh, they score always late." Yeah, but that's part of the game. Yeah, Manchester United and Sir Alex Ferguson, they were winning games in the last minute. I don't remember people saying, "Oh, I remember people saying, "Oh, that's a great mentality, the Fergie time." So it's part of the game. Those things are part of the game. I don't know why people are annoyed about last minute goals and being a disadvantage or set pieces. So yeah. Okay, let's move on to La Liga. Barcelona beat Real Sociedad 2-1, especially Barcelona from behind. But Barcelona come back. Goals from Koundé and Lewandowski, assists from Marcus Rashford and Lamine Yamal, who came off the bench. So yeah, like I thought, like Real Sociedad, they started the game quite well. They, especially in 25 minutes, I think they did okay in terms of their plan and strategy for the game. Adrioza gave Real Sociedad the lead to make it 1-0. But Barcelona come back, score 2 goals from Koundé and Lewandowski. And when you see these kind of quality players, the likes of Rashford and also Lamine Yamal, or wingers who can score, who can assist, who can dribble past players and has the qualities to do that. A bit like Julian Alvarez, who has the because at City he wasn't like giving much freedom because Haaland playing, etc. But Atletico is giving all this freedom, all the space. He's the main man, and he's showing his quality. And he can score goals. He can assist. He can make something happen. He can, do something against defenders, dribbling wise at times. So he's a quality player. Like I said, Rashford and Lamine Yamal, just to give an example for Julian Alvarez. So. Those players they make something happen, and I think it's an advantage that Barcelona have those players, and also Rafinha. Let's not forget that who's injured for this game and is going to be injured for the PSG game, which is a big blow for Barcelona. So yeah, but good win and a good comeback for Barcelona, and they go top of La Liga because of obviously Real Madrid's defeat. Serie A, AC Milan beat Napoli 2-1. AC Milan scored first 2 goals from Saelemaekers and Pulisic, who gave 2 goals, the lead for AC Milan first half. And AC Milan in the first half, they were looking very, very good. They had the chances, they took it. Napoli didn't. And then when AC Milan went down to 10 men and 3 minutes later, De Bruyne scores from the penalty. That's what AC Milan and Allegri started to adapt, and they went with a more defensive approach, and they basically parked the bus for the last 30-25 minutes of the game, which you can understand why. And Napoli, it was up to them to break them down. They had the possession, they had the chances, but they didn't do that. So good win, very very good win for AC Milan. Pulisic, I mean, very very good. He's been quite good this season, Pulisic, so far. So another good performance for him, another goal, and AC Milan now go top of the Serie A. So maybe I was not wrong when I predicted them to win the Serie A. But it's very early this season. I don't want to get carried away. So, but yeah, very good win for AC Milan. Very important, especially great win in terms of strategic point of view. Especially they had to adapt. So good win for AC Milan and good win for Massimiliano Allegri. Let's move on to the Premier League. Everton against West Ham in the Hill Dixon Stadium, or whatever you like to call it. West Ham are going to be the first game on the new manager Nuno Espirito Santo, replacing sacked and deservedly Graham Potter. So glad to see Nuno Espirito back in the Premier League, especially after disappointing end to his tenure at Nottingham Forest, not in the pitch stuff but off the pitch. So I'm looking forward to see how he's going to do at West Ham. Away to Everton, my score prediction. I think if it was under Graham Potter, I would say Everton win, but because it's a manager bounce, I'm going for a 2-2 draw. That's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and have a nice day. And take care. Bye.